See, I want to be able to see. Oh no, I'm doing the flashy screen thing. See, this is why I'm going back to Arch. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know if
This
it's
is why.
I don't know if it's really gonna solve my flashy screen problem. But
So you're still on Pop then?
yeah, I'm still on Pop.
Okay.
I've been on Pop basically since we reviewed it. I haven't changed it. I've been on Pop for a while.
Yeah, you definitely have. At least 3 or 4 of our episodes.
Yeah, because I what happened was I switched to Pop, and then we had the i3 challenge, and so instead of installing something that had i3, I just installed Pop. I just installed i3 on Pop. So there's, I feel like there can't be many people running Pop OS.
I think that's
i3WM.
worse than installing Arch and then installing i3.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right. I would say
more
that
dangerous. I should say more dangerous.
I would bet. I would dare to say that if you're a i3WM developer, you're probably more likely to make sure that whatever your new feature is runs on Arch versus Pop OS.
Yeah, I don't think that's our target.
So yeah, you're probably right. In compatibility world, it's probably better to be on Arch than it is on Pop OS. So cold open, I got this beautiful OpenMW. This is I got this on gamingonlinux.com, which they have a lot of great articles. You were aware of this. I actually was not aware of. I was not aware of this project until I saw this article. But the article is announcing a new major update after I think more than a year since their last update.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
But this,
I've been waiting for this one.
This thing is beautiful. Let me play some of this video with my sound off. But this is an add-on for Morrowind, right? Like you have to own Morrowind and then install this on top of it.
It's actually a re-implementation of the game engine so that you can play it on any platform. You can play it on Windows, Linux. I'm not sure if they have a Mac. I don't know, but I know definitely on Linux you can play it.
And you can use it in like a developer. Like you can actually use this because it says it's a game engine. Can you use this to actually develop your own maps? Or is it just remapping? I don't know about
that. I don't know about that. I would think you could because it is the re-implementation of the engine.
Yeah.
I know you can mod with it. You can add your mods and stuff like that to the game through this OpenMW, but I don't know about actually building a whole game from it. I have no idea.
Yeah. This is so cool, man. I really love just I have a lot of credits here, and then they go into kind of their different features.
Yeah, I actually lost track of this. I haven't been following it, so this is like new to me too because I didn't know that they had a release. Because after they didn't release for a while, I kind of was like, whatever. And now I'm gonna have to definitely try this out.
Yeah, so the comparison here is from the previous version of their mod to the new version. So it's not a comparison to like old Morrowind to this, but
right.
It's, I mean, like I can tell where this is an ESO. You know what I mean? Like it looks so like modernized.
Oh yeah,
it's so cool. Pretty badass. Yeah, super pumped for that. But let's do this thing. Episode 18, buddy. Here we go. You're not gonna be able to hear the intro music, but just trust me, there'll be music. I'm not just dancing around. I'm not just dancing around in silence. All right. Hello and welcome to Crowbar Kernel Panic, the podcast at the intersection of Linux and gaming. This is episode 18, and we are live streaming. We're live streaming every stinking where. We are live streaming to YouTube, to Facebook, which I probably should just turn off Facebook at this point. It's completely pointless.
Hey, it's meta now, okay?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot
metaverse.
I forgot all about that. We're in the metaverse. And I'm gonna put a little thing of barbecue on my on my shelf back there, just to be that corny. Only a complete cornball would do that. We are also streaming on Twitch. Twitch is I really want to do Twitch. I started watching a lot of Twitch. I want to try to learn the community there. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. We have no description on our channel.
Yeah, I've never gotten to Twitch at all, watching it or streaming.
Yeah, I watch it sometimes, mostly in the RPG world. I watch a lot of D&D stuff.
That
on
makes
Twitch.
sense. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we can break in there. So this is our second attempt. Maybe we'll get a viewer this time on Twitch. But even if we don't, you can find us on YouTube at Crowbar Colonel Panic. And you can send us an email, crowbarcolonelpanic@pm.me. We know the email works because we received an email. We're gonna review. We're gonna read at the top of we're gonna review your email. We're gonna read at the top of the show, and then also you can join us on Discord. There is a link in the show notes to the Mintcast Discord where we hang out in the Linux gaming channel. And I want to say right here at the beginning, one of the things I want to do on Twitch is I want to do the time that I live streamed on YouTube, putting together my Raspberry Pi camera. I want to do that kind of stuff on Twitch. And so I've been preparing to do a Arch Linux install live on Twitch. It's going to be a multi-part series. I don't know if I'll be able to do it all in one night. Usually when I install Linux, I can't do it all in one. I have to kind of do it over time. So it'll probably be a few different streams, but I'm going to start by just absolutely just from a thumb drive, pop it in, install via command line, all the way to the point that I can reboot, get grub, and get a command prompt, and then from there, maybe that'll be episode 1, and then episode 2, I'll start building a desktop environment, and then episode 3 will be getting set up for gaming, and then episode 4 could be getting set up for podcasting. So if you go through all of those live streams, and I'll break them up into YouTube videos too, hopefully. I say hopefully because a lot of times I think I'll do something I never do. But it could from beginning to end kind of guide you through setting up a Arch desktop, or at least on similar hardware to mine. I don't know how different
that
USB
it could be. Better be set up with DD and none of this etcher bull crap.
Too late. How did I do it?
Oh no, you already set it up.
Yeah, I already set it up. I used whatever Pop has. So I used
Popsicle.
Yeah, they have USB flasher is what it's called in the menu.
Okay.
I don't know if that's actually Popsicle. I don't know. But I just use that. I have done the DD thing before. But I never trust that it's going to do the boot part right. Which for Arch it seems to, because I think it's just simple enough that it can do it. But sometimes you try you try DD-ing a more complicated OS, and sometimes it doesn't actually do the boot section or something. I don't know. And I'm sure there's some flag I'm supposed to do. And I didn't do that.
I just fully switched to Ventoy, and I haven't had any issues since.
Dude, that's the new hotness. Everybody's talking about Ventoy.
Ventoy is amazing. I don't care what anyone says.
So what makes it so? What makes it so cool? You can do multiple OSs on one thumb drive, right? So this is the thing.
You create the Ventoy stick on your thumb drive. It creates 2 partitions: a boot partition to boot up Ventoy and grub and all that stuff, and then another partition where the rest of the storage is, where you just throw on your ISOs. You literally just copy and paste them there, and you put your USB stick in the computer, boot it up, and it gives you a list, and it's the grub menu or whatever you want to call it, of all your distros, and you just select the one you want, and it boots it right up.
I see. So once you set up a Ventoy USB, then that burning process is done. From then on, you just drop whatever ISO you want in there. Oh, that is rad. That's pretty cool. I could definitely use that.
And I have not had it fail once.
As much as we try different OSs for the show, I should definitely do that. It's pretty cool. But so we got this email. This is from Gordon. He's asking us about Tomb Raider. Do you want to read this? Or you want me to?
Oh, you can read it. Okay,
I'm reading through my microphone, so we'll see. Sometimes I have trouble with this. Hi guys, I was wondering if you had a recommended Proton version to play Rise of the Tomb Raider on a laptop with a Nvidia GeForce GTX 1650 Ti Max-Q. At the moment, it is quite choppy unless I run it in a small window. I could play Tomb Raider 2013 full screen with only slowdowns in intense battle scenes with Proton 6.3. Says, thanks for any ideas. So one thing that I was surprised by is that you need to use Proton to run Rise of the Tomb Raider, because I thought it was Linux compatible.
Now, Rise of the Tomb Raider did work for me when I finally installed it. I used Mint and everything, and I did it with native Linux, and that actually did work. But Tomb Raider, the first one, that one I actually had to use Proton 5.0 to get that to even boot.
So I'm pulling it up now. Let's see. I could be incorrect. Yeah, they have it listed. So, but it doesn't work. Huh? What does Proton DB say? Let's see what they say. So your response, you said, "Hey, thanks for the email." So you asked for a little bit more information.
Right.
Oh, and you brought up exactly what I said about that. Yep. It is native to Linux. And if it's not working with what Linux distro are you using? So you asked him the common questions, that sort of thing. Because
I needed a little more info. Because if he's running Arch, it's it's totally different than Mint.
yeah, it could be. So he gave us back some machine details. So he's running a ThinkPad
awesome
X1.
Specs.
Yeah. The ThinkPad X1 Extreme Gen 3, which, very good Linux compatibility. 10th gen Intel Core i7, the 1075, 5 gigahertz. Wow. Nvidia GTX 1650 Ti Max-Q, 4 gigs of RAM in a laptop. That is mad, dude. Linux Mint 20, Nvidia 470, and kernel 510. And then he assumes it's the native version since it's fair. Okay. So if he assumes it's the native Linux version, then why did he ask what Proton version? So
maybe he tried it once I emailed him back.
Yeah.
And I asked him if he tried the Linux version. He probably tried it, and he's just saying, "Oh, I assume it's Feral Games because he probably tried it." Now, the funny thing too is that I noticed is it says kernel 5.10. Now, that's not a normal Ubuntu kernel, so I'm assuming that this is a ThinkPad that already had Ubuntu pre-installed, and they have a custom kernel running on it. So this is like full-on Linux compatibility from top to bottom, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So this should be working under.
I've had this happen to me though.
Linux.
I don't know how often you've experienced it, but for example, I have to look. Torchlight 2. It has a Linux installation that does not work. It hasn't worked for me on several different OSs, different distros, and I'm not sure if it's something with my hardware that's incompatible, or if they just gave up on supporting the Linux version of the game. I have no idea.
I don't know, because Tomb Raider, the original from 2013, the reboot, that one did not work native at all for me on either of my computers. So then I did Proton 5.0, and that worked immediately. Everything's fine. I can play it, graphics full on, all that. But his actual solution to this problem, because he actually figured it out, is pretty cool.
Okay.
This is what I said here. This next part here is just kind of what I found on Proton DB, just kind of trying here and there, what to do.
Okay. Which they suggested. So did he go with this fix, or this was a suggestion from Proton DB?
No, he did not end up going with this. He actually found out what it was.
Okay. Well, we'll just say that according to others on Proton DB, they use this line, and we'll have it in the show notes. Enable VK best salt dat equals 0, NV prime render offload equals 1, GLX vendor library name Nvidia, and then the command. It always ends with command.
Yeah, it always ends with command. Yeah,
and so that apparently is what fixed it for them. I'm assuming that is for Nvidia users only.
Right. This is for Nvidia users and Linux Mint specifically. I
wow.
filtered
Okay.
it down to that to just make it easier.
Good call. So he says, thank you for your help. It ended up being all my fault. Wow. After upgrading the Nvidia drivers and rebooting, I didn't enroll my MOK, and so the Nvidia drivers weren't loading.
So that has to do with secure boot.
Oh.
If he had secure boot enabled.
Oh, gotcha. It was only using the Intel integrated graphics. I purged the Nvidia drivers and I had to go through this process with Fedora. Doing it the hard way.
Yep. Not with Fedora, but another distro. I can't remember which one, but I remember one of them I had to go through all this crap. It was ugh.
Well, in my case, it was because I installed the drivers the hard way. I didn't actually just use
when
the
you
Fedora built-in.
Yeah,
I didn't just use their driver upgrade tool or whatever it is, their hardware tool. After a reboot, and he did that enroll. Then the drivers loaded. The Nvidia settings app would work. Running Steam, Rise of the Tomb Raider after a long time building Vulkan shaders. Yeah, that always takes forever.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not just me.
No,
I did it. I just kill it sometimes, and then the game
me
just,
too.
the game just launches.
Fine.
Yeah, I'm like, what was it even doing?
I know.
I did a benchmark, and the average was 68 FPS. Yeah, on that monster of a laptop you've got, Gordon. I played
really
the game for a half an hour, and the graphics were great and smooth. Later, I checked the options and found that most things were set to high. Along the way of debugging, I downloaded and compiled Feral Interactive's game mode. And he gives us the link to that. We'll put that in the show notes also.
Now, I'm not 100% sure why he downloaded it and compiled it, unless maybe he wanted to have the newest version, because Ubuntu, or I should say Mint, has it built into it. So all you have to do is just enable it.
Yeah, this is just game mode. Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah. So another thing, too, is when you enroll in the MOK, or whatever, I don't know how you pronounce that,
yeah.
But what happens is the NVIDIA drivers need a key for secure boot to work. So you're enrolling the key for NVIDIA into secure boot so it knows to use, to boot it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's
the fix for all of this is to just disable secure boot. Then none of this would happen.
Yeah, or I don't know how you installed the original drivers.
Mm-hmm.
But you probably did the same thing I did, where I found some tutorial online that kind of walked me through the hard way to do it, and that ended up causing me to have to do all this, whereas the Linux Mint hardware manager probably would have got you to the same place automatically. Let's see, he said he was using 470, right? I'm pretty sure with the right repo, you can get 470 even through their hardware manager.
Yeah, I mean, when I installed it, I literally just installed Linux Mint before this episode. Yeah. I actually got the 495 drivers, but the 470 was already there, and you just click on it and it installs it. It's not. There's no real hard way to do it on Linux Mint. Like, it's just there. Mm-hmm. Unless you want to go the hard way, that's another story.
Yeah, and that's one of the things they've always been famous for, is having that like a click away.
Yeah. Definitely, though, 100% this could have all been avoided if secure boot was disabled. I know that, because I have had this problem.
Do you run with secure boot disabled?
I will enable it if it works. If it doesn't work, I will just disable it, because I don't really care. I mean, I'm just I don't have anything on my laptop that much. I wipe it how many times in a month?
That's true. It's I have it. I think it is on my desktop, but off on my laptop.
Yeah,
and I don't remember why. And I think that, just like you said, I think I may have tried something.
NVIDIA
at some
drivers
point.
Just have issues with secure boot, and it works sometimes. It doesn't. It looks like it did work for him because he enrolled it. It's this big, when it boots up, it's this big screen that comes up. It looks scary. It's in end curses. It's like, do you want to enroll in MOK? And it's like, I don't know what this is. It's kind of like scary when it happens. But if you do that, it just boots every time afterwards, or at least it should.
why don't you just tell me whether I should enroll?
Yeah, exactly. And you can't even look it up because it's it's locked out.
So the Steam survey. So this is on techspot.com. The latest Steam survey has dropped, and the biggest takeaway for the month, other than AMD continuing its resurgence, is apparent signs of the chip shortage. Only 5 graphics cards made gains of over 0.10%, with the most significant increase belonging to the GTX 1660, which jumped by 0.35%, which is, there's not. So I guess if you looked at the previous month, right, almost every graphics card had, some gains. Small gains, the highest being also the 1660 at 0.35%. And so if you looked at that and thought, oh, maybe we're coming out of this GPU crisis, maybe things are starting to pick up. Well, this month it goes back down again with almost no increase in graphics cards. I don't know if this is all right. So do you think graphics card sales go up typically in November at the end of October, beginning of November, or do you think this is kind of a drought time of year anyway? I honestly don't know the answer to that question. Like, I didn't look into it, but I know that if I were buying a graphics card right now, I would wait because I know I'm going to get Amazon gift cards for Christmas, and it's unlikely that any of my family members, or deals at Black Friday, exactly.
Yeah, this specific time of month and prior to this, like October and beginning of November, should be a drought because no one should want to buy anything, because why not just wait a week or two to get the deals on Black Friday or Cyber Monday?
Right, exactly. I really feel like I would be waiting right now. And there's some products that you're like, oh, but the sales will go up because people are buying it for other people as gifts for Christmas. Mm-hmm. But who buys anybody a graphics card for Christmas? Like, people just...
you buy it yourself.
Yeah,
man.
If you want a graphics card, people give you gift cards and you go buy your own. Like, no one... Your grandmother's not like, which one was that you wanted? It was the 17...
The GTX thing?
I mean, the only way you're getting a graphics card for Christmas is if you have, like, really, really cool friends. Seriously. No family member is getting you that. Or maybe maybe there's like a parent to child graphics card part, but it can't be overwhelming. So I don't know that this.
First off, how many people in general are buying graphics cards in the first place? I mean, it's a lot, but it's not that many. And then you narrow it down to people buying them for other people. Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
Very, very negligible.
So I don't know that this is as alarming as it seems, but we've been in a drought for a very long time, and that doesn't seem like it's changing.
I heard a little while back that they had signs that Nvidia was actually artificially holding, making the market what do you want to call it?
Artificially scarce. Yeah.
Right. But it's like they're hiding it in the pandemic. Like it's like who knows if it's because of it or actually hiding it in it.
I would bet that the truth is somewhere in the middle between those two.
Yeah, I agree. It's usually always in the middle.
Yeah, that's true. But another kind of similar story. This is on Phoronix. The AMD market share amongst Linux gamers is around 40%, which is another 0.3% increase since the last survey they did. But I thought this was interesting because I myself switched from Intel to AMD, and I participate in the Steam survey thing every chance I get. So I am part of that 40% there, and I also
need to figure out how to get this come up. I don't ever have it come up.
It's random. It's random. Yeah, I haven't had it in a little while, but anytime it pops up, I hit submit, and I've had it quite a few times.
I've never had it. Like, ever. Like, I don't understand why. My account must be like freaking banned from it.
I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how if certain games. I have a lot of Valve games. Maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know.
This guy has a lot of Valve games. We might as well put the Steam survey out to this guy.
They're like, he's a fanboy. He'll give us a good rating. It's like whenever the well, they don't really have you rate anything. They just ask you if you want to participate. So when it comes, but you know what's weird though is there's been times where I've been running the Windows version of Steam in Lutris for some strange reason. I'm trying to get some game to work that won't work any other way, and I've gotten the survey. And I've thought, how will this contribute? Will they be able to tell that I'm on Linux even though I'm running it through Wine? I have no idea if they can tell that.
There was a way to get around that where you could like close out of it and like re-sign in on Linux, and it would come up as a Linux thing. And like even if you were on Windows at the time, you could trick it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you could still do it, but that was funny.
Great. I'm going to go to Windows machines and I'm going to run Steam from the Windows subsystem from Linux.
Just VMs, just a ton of VMs.
But anyway, so they did the survey, and Intel CPUs are still a whopping 59.7%, but they're losing ground to AMD's 40.2%, and that is amongst Linux users. Let's see. Wait a minute. Am I reading this wrong? AMD on Linux is much more common than Windows, where Intel. Okay, so on Windows, Intel still makes up 69% of the market share. So on Windows, it's still so much more. But, I don't find, just like the first story, I don't really find this that alarming because, well, for one thing, Intel is great too. I'm a fan of both, right? But
they need to both stay.
Yeah, we need them both. But the thing is like, I find that most laptops have Intel chips in them, or at least in the price range I'm usually looking at laptops.
Yep.
And like every laptop you buy in the store is going to be running Windows. So it's not I'm not that surprised that Intel corners the market amongst Windows users.
Right. Plus they have the integrated graphics, and not all of AMD do.
Right. This is kind of a this was a news story that would have went along well with our original show topic, which we'll probably do next week. But I'll go ahead and leave this story in here. Indie Dev finds that Linux users generate more better bug reports. So this is from an indie game developer. They're developing a game. It's hard to say. It's either DV or it's Delta V, Rings of Saturn. And they have a small percentage of Linux users, only 5.8% of their games buyers were playing on Linux. But that 5.8% make up 38% of the bug reports.
Wow.
Yeah. And they say that only 3 of the 400 bug reports submitted by Linux users were specific to an issue that would rise on Linux. So it's not like, this game just runs terribly on Linux, that's why they open more bug reports. It just seems like they're just more prone to being willing to open a bug report. And so I thought this was really cool. Like, this is really interesting, kind of, like quick, like glance at a glance of the Linux community, because if you're running Linux, especially as a Linux gamer specifically, you're already looking in Git, lab. You're already looking in you're already like troubleshooting, and you probably enjoy that sort of thing. You and I have often said that like we enjoy making the game work as much or more than actually playing the game.
Right. Depending on the game. Yeah, definitely.
Right. And so you or I are way more likely to put in a bug report or to point out something that we found that's wrong, especially if we think we can get cool points for being the guy that's like, hey, I even know why this is wrong. Here's what you need to do to fix it. I bet there's a lot of that there too. I wouldn't doubt it.
Bet. Confirmed. Linux users are smarter than Windows users. I'm just kidding, Windows users. I'm sorry.
Don't come for us. We're new to Twitch, right? We're new to Twitch. Don't come get us yet. Give us a few more weeks. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty interesting article, and I might check this game out. I haven't looked into it yet, but it was originally a post on Reddit, And the link I have in the show notes has a link to the original source post, and they even have it kind of copied and pasted here in the article. We have another GamingOnLinux.com story. This is Valve adds support for games using CEG DRM through Steam Play Proton. So this is similar to the recent support they added for, EAC and various, you can tell they're trying to get this compatibility, question up, as the Steam Deck comes out. But this is actually a Valve specific DRM that they used to use it's an older DRM technology they used on a lot of older games. And judging by the titles here, it was used by other companies as well. But this release, in the latest Proton experimental, could solve it's not 100%, obviously, but it could solve this DRM issue for several titles, including Aliens vs. Predator, Bioshock Infinite, Call of Duty Black Ops, Just Cause 2, like several, Mafia 2. I know that's like a cult favorite.
Yeah.
A ton.
I'm surprised about Bioshock Infinite because that
I was
game
shocked by that too.
That plays. I've played that before. I don't know why. Is there multiplayer in that? Maybe. I don't know.
Possibly.
I've never played multiplayer with it.
I feel like I have played Bioshock. Oh, but I've played the original Bioshock, not Infinite.
I played them all. All of them work on Linux, as far as I know. I've played them all.
And you know what? So right now on sale for $7.49, Bioshock Infinite actually lists as having a Linux installation. So I'm not even sure.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not sure why it's required, but apparently it is. It probably is just a title that uses that DRM. So that's why it got added to this list.
That could be. Yep.
Yeah, I played the original Bioshock. I want to say, though, if I'm being completely honest, I think this was in my LAN party days, and I probably just got it from somebody else at the LAN party. And so that's why I never finished it, because I didn't actually own it. It's $4.99. Now's the time. It's $4.99. I might buy it.
Yeah, I have all the Bioshocks, and then I bought the remasters, and the remasters have Linux native versions.
Yeah. Oh, what? So Bioshock, I just happened to be on the screen. I'm not calling you out, but I happen to be on the Bioshock remastered screen. They don't list it.
They don't?
No, it's just
maybe it's the other way around, or maybe I'm just totally wrong.
It's got, dude, this game of this age though, it's got to run great on Proton. I wonder what it is if we look it up on Proton DB.
Yeah, last time I played it, it ran pretty good. Oh, that's interesting. I'm probably thinking of a different game. I know there was a remaster that came out that was native to Linux and the original wasn't. I can't remember. Maybe that's Metro 2033. It could be that I'm thinking of.
So Bioshock, it has a gold rating on Proton DB, so you're safe to play it on the glorious egg roll.
Glorious egg roll.
You could almost turn off eSync and use glorious egg roll for any game.
Yeah,
it probably works. Last on our news docket, we have Wimpy's Quick Emu. I keep wanting to say Quick Menu, but it's Quick Emu.
Yeah, Quick Emu. Yep.
And this is let me full screen this so I can read it. So quickly create and run optimized Windows, Mac OS, and Linux desktop virtual machines. So you can quickly create and run highly optimized desktop virtual machines for Linux, Mac OS, and Windows with just 2 commands. You decide what operating system you want to run, and Quick Emu will figure out the best way to do it for you. For example, and he gives an example here. So quick get, that's quick get, not quick get, Ubuntu Mate, impish, and then quick menu says --VM Ubuntu Mate impish.conf. So it sounds like it's just an easy way to spin up VMs for various OSs.
Yeah.
Only you can pre-package your settings. So I'm guessing that this relies on somebody figuring out the correct settings and then publishing that somewhere, right? Like how does it pull that in?
As far as I know, what happens is it installs, when you install QuickEMU, it installs QEMU and configures everything there. And then when you pull down whatever thing you want, even Windows you can pull down, it will configure in the background with a script. And that is when you say QuickEMU --VM Ubuntu Mate, whatever, the comp file has everything in it to set it up the way it needs to be set up. Now, the reason why I even mentioned this to even put it in here is because Wimpy is working on GPU pass-through with Windows.
Oh.
I'm like talking like these two commands and you have GPU pass-through on Windows.
That would be astonishing.
That would be amazing. Like as soon as I heard that, I was like, there's no freaking way this guy's going to do this, but he's going to do it.
I mean,
like he's amazing.
If anybody could, I would trust that he would.
Anyone can.
Dude.
And I mean, there's a lot of people working on this. Like if you go on his Discord, there's a ton of chat going on about this QuickEMU. It's crazy.
That is quite a dream to have. I have tried to set up that. That's something we should eventually do as a show topic, but I got to tell you, I don't feel like I'm smart enough because I tried this more than once. I feel like, and it is. I've
been researching it for the past like 2 weeks, and it's not easy. For one, the first thing you got to figure out is if your hardware can even do it. Like even if you have 2 GPUs, your motherboard has to support all this other stuff to enable the ability to do this. So
so I'll try my best to explain what it's doing, but I probably am getting part of this wrong too. But it's basically you're going to use one graphics card to actually power your like Linux monitor, your Linux rig, and then you'll run a VM on that Linux host OS, which will use a graphics card, like a gaming graphics card in your system to run Windows games with the power of that GPU. Like within a Windows virtual machine. Like
you just installed it into the VM somehow through magic.
There was a great, let me see the name of this YouTube channel. There was a video I saw once where the tutorial I was following. Let's see, GPU pass-through. I'm sure it's one of the top results. Of course, Linus is the top result. I don't see it now. I was following shoot. Anyway, I want to learn to do this, but it's always eluded me.
Maybe we won't have to. Maybe this will work.
And you know what? Maybe it's not as hard now if they do this, it's unbelievably easy, but maybe even still it's not as hard now as it was last time I looked into it because
maybe if you have the right stuff, maybe it's not that bad.
Yeah, when I was doing it before, I was on like a P6N Platinum with a Q6600 CPU or something.
No wonder you had problems.
Actually, that's probably not
terminal. No.
Yeah, actually, that's probably not accurate. It's probably the build I had after that one. That one's probably too old. I don't remember, but it was an old build I had. It was an old build. Yeah.
Oh man.
So that is the news. We'll knock that out. What have you been doing this week? You been doing anything fun?
Well, I first tried Ubuntu 2110, and it's okay, but I just didn't want to deal with GNOME anymore. I've been dealing with GNOME for so long now, and I'm just like, okay, so hear me out. I like GNOME. I really do. I don't mind the whole extension thing. I know it's a hack and whatever, yada, yada. But if you stay on Ubuntu, you don't have to worry about them breaking as often and whatever. The problem I have with GNOME is the GNOME developers. I'm getting so fed up with them just projecting what they want onto everyone else.
Yeah.
And just not caring because like even with GTK, they're projecting everything onto everything that they want onto anyone who uses GTK. So like Mint, for instance, with Cinnamon, they use GTK. So eventually it's going to be a problem with theming it because they're going to lock everything down and make it so hard to theme it.
Yeah, this is the common issue with GNOME. I hear. I think it's funny that you're leaving GNOME before me because I was convinced I hated it whenever we first tried the Fedora 34. And a new version of Fedora has come out, and I'm still using GNOME on a different OS. But yeah, I'm getting off too. In my Arch installation, I've been thinking about what desktop environment I'm going to pick, and I really think I'm going to do Cinnamon. I think I'm going to do Arch with Cinnamon. That was my setup for the last 2 or 3 years. I've been using Arch with Cinnamon.
Hey, that's a solid right.
That's what I always go back to. What I always go back to. Yeah. So I think I'm going to do that. I was thinking about trying, because there are some things I don't like about Cinnamon. Mostly that Cinnamon is like, it's weird because it's like not exciting, because it just seems to already kind of be what I expect it to be. It doesn't have that many settings really, but you can do a lot with the number. You got to what?
It just kind of keeps rolling. Like with the different versions that come out, it's like, oh, we did this, oh, we did that. It's nothing like, oh, we have Wayland now all of a sudden. No, that's going to come like years down the line. This is not fast.
So I don't know. It's a great desktop environment, but I feel like it's kind of getting.
You might like Budgie. Have you ever tried Budgie?
I've never tried it. I think Moss has told me to use it. That people have told me to use it before in the past. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
It's very gnomish, but it's very cinnamonish at the same time. It's like this perfect mesh.
I tried to look it up, and how do you spell it?
Don't look up Ubuntu Budgie. That's totally different. They do it weird. I'm not sure.
I spelled it correctly, but it brought up a bird, so I need to look
it probably is a bird.
I need to look up Budgie Desktop.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah, here I've got some
images.
Probably
with Solus.
Oh yeah, I've seen Solus. Yeah. Okay.
Solus looks amazing. Like, it is really nice. I love Solus for its look.
I have seen this, and at one time I would have loved this, because I used to do the very Mac OS looking layout. I kind of quit doing that. I think it's one of those things that kind of changes with the trends, and I feel like that is like less trendy now than it used to be. Like, I don't know. My desktop's fashionable. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try it. I'll try it out for the sake of the show, if nothing else. I really liked Unity.
Hey, Arch, you can throw it on.
Yeah, it's true. So here's the thing. I hated Unity when it came out, and then by the time it left Ubuntu, I loved it, and I was like, "Why are you taking Unity from me?" And so there was that Ubuntu. I tried that Ubuntu Unity
the remix
distro, yeah, and I really liked it. I think that we should have given it a second shake. I think that we should have given Unity more time.
They just added the lead dev on that to the Ubuntu team. So they might actually make it an official flavor.
Isn't he like 10 years old?
Yeah, he's like 11 or something like that. It's nuts. Like, this kid's got a career before he's even out of school.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, he's I think I heard that he was actually born after Ubuntu started Unity. After Unity joined Ubuntu in that distro.
Great.
That's so great. Crazy. But yeah, I'll probably do I want to say Mint. I'll probably do Cinnamon also. But you
speaking of Mint.
yeah. So I was going to say, I see here that you're back on Linux Mint. You mentioned that too.
Yep, I put it on both my desktop and my laptop. And I was running Pop before. Well, I was running 2104 for a little bit, but before that, I was running Pop OS on both of them. And I was actually amazed at how similar, like, the experience was between Pop and Mint for me. Like, even on my desktop or on my laptop, it actually installed the Optimus driver so that I can switch between Nvidia and Intel right off the bat. Like, I didn't have to do anything; it was already there. Yeah. It already knew that I had that. And I wasn't expecting that at all.
I think I think they serve a similar audience.
Pop definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. But I use the edge of Mint, which is like their basically regular Mint, but with the newest Ubuntu kernel that's out. And I did that because both my CPUs on both of these are pretty much brand new. So
Yeah.
I needed the most up to date I could get to get the best performance. What?
That's my two favorite. I mean, I really love both those distros. It's like my two favorite right now. It's Pop and Mint.
Yeah. At least the way they have the desktop set up is really nice. But I might install on my laptop the I think it's Xanmod kernel. Because I want to see if that's going to make it any better, because it does have, that's the newest kernel you can get pretty much, and you can easily install it on any Ubuntu distro.
Yeah. We tried that in the first episode we reviewed, the Xanmod kernel.
Yeah, I want to try that and see how that goes. I can't do it on my desktop because I use ZFS and I need the Ubuntu kernel for that.
Yeah.
So that's another story. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna try it on my laptop to see how that goes. But yeah, as far as games went, they run as good or better than Pop OS for me. I mean, most games installed super easy, and when I installed ESO, the one little box that comes up that you have to press OK with was not black in Linux Mint. It was actually visible. I was like, wow, this is nice.
They had an update recently. I wonder if something changed or if that was just a Mint thing.
No, because I just, unless it was within a couple days, I just installed it on Ubuntu 2110, and it was the same thing.
Did you have to do the drive trick where it thinks your drive is smaller than it really is? Still had to do that? Yeah, okay.
That you still have to do. I think that is something that's going to be until Proton fixes it. That's just
I've had it on. That's just like a weird Proton Windows game thing, because I've had it on other games besides ESO.
Yeah, at least it's a simple fix.
Yeah. I have been playing. I played Guild Wars 2 because you were talking about it. Did you end up ever playing it?
I played it a little bit. I got it installed and everything, and I played it, and it played just as good as the first time I installed it. And like that amazes me though. Like freaking games that are older, that are static games that don't change after a certain date, they don't update them anymore, won't work with Linux. But a freaking game like Guild Wars that's constantly changing, or ESO that's constantly changing, always works every time.
Yeah, I think MMOs, I feel like, have pretty good compatibility on Linux, because I think that they're always aiming at a moving target. Yeah, like because they're
ready for it to move.
Right, exactly. Because they're constantly updating. They know it's like a living thing, and Guild Wars 2. I think the last time I installed Guild Wars 2, it didn't run as smooth as it did this time. This time I think was the best performance I've seen out of it. But it's not a game I play a lot, and so I don't have a lot of experience with it. But this time I think I gave it like the most fair shot I ever could, because I actually played it for at least a week solid, where I was actually like,
oh wow,
like I was doing the new MMO thing where I was like excited to log in. I'm like looking up things about my class and everything. But what I kept running into was I really wanted to like build a tank or build a healer. I was just doing the classic MMO thing. Like I wanted to do the Holy Trinity thing.
Right. And
the more I researched it, I don't think Guild Wars 2 really does that. I don't think that's...
It doesn't work the same way. It doesn't work like a traditional World of Warcraft or ESO.
Yeah. And that's okay. In a way, ESO doesn't either. ESO is like you kind of have an option. Like ESO is like every class can kind of be a tank, healer, or DPS, but you still need a tank, healer, and 2 DPS. Like someone has to pick up that role. And in later content, you'll find that, certain classes can be tanks, but can they like really be high-end tanks? You know what I mean? Unless you're just like a great player. You're probably going to be on a Dragon Knight to tank, or you're probably going to be on, the Necromancer DPS. So it's like, I would say that it's the Holy Trinity style, but flexible, Whereas like Guild Wars 2, you don't even get your first dungeon until level 30.
Yeah.
And what I read about it was that their dungeons are very good, but they just don't lean heavily on that aspect of the game. The dungeons are neat because you can like run them in story mode, and then you can run them in some other mode, and like it's like different. Like you go through like a different wing of the dungeon by doing it this other way. And so it sounded like I would enjoy the dungeon aspect of the game, but it's just like the game didn't really lean heavily on that. I think they've only got like 8 to 12 maybe. They only had a handful. They didn't have a lot for the whole game.
Yeah.
It's
way different than most MMOs out there. You know, they do it in a very different way.
I like the aspect of like you're not going around picking up quests and killing things and then going back and turning it in. You're doing this like map fulfillment thing. Where
that I really did like that because you got rewarded for exploring, and that's something I really love about games.
Yeah, and you can choose how you want to fulfill that zone. So like you go into like a little settlement, and there'll be a bar that you need to fill up, and you can either kill things, you can either like you could plant stuff, you could go around and help people, you could go around reading books. You can go around and choose your way to fulfill that bar. Of course, I just ran around killing stuff because that's like that's the easiest way. But however you do that is up to you, and then you get a significant amount of experience for doing that. So it incentivizes you to do it for every spot on the map, and then you get an even bigger bonus for fulfilling the whole map. I like that mechanic a lot, but I just couldn't see. To me, that seemed like the only thing you can do from 1 to 30. And I was excited about it for about a week, and then I just got burnt out because it was like, well, all I can do is log in and fulfill these maps. Like I don't know what else I can do.
Well, like you can do the quests and stuff, like the main quests and all.
Yeah, you get a main story quest that'll have you like every 5 levels or so go do something. But beyond that, it felt like I was just maybe I missed something, but it just felt like I was running around filling the map. Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, there are like little tiny quests you can do and stuff like that, like help, like you said, to help the people and all that stuff. But they're not like in depth, nothing like ESO. You can see a person on the side of the road and be like, "Oh, I'll help you," and 10 hours later, you're back there saying, "Where else do I go?" No,
ESO has quests like. They're novels. Nobody does quests like ESO, and they're all voice acted. I don't understand. I literally don't understand how they can do it. I don't understand how they can afford to voice out all of this.
That's how they do
it. Yeah, I know. even with it though, I don't see it's amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's kind of what. So that's kind of what I did. I re-enlisted my account in ESO because that's kind of what happened. Is I played Guild Wars 2 until I got burnt out, and I just kept thinking, I kept comparing it to ESO, and so I just said, you know what, I'll just start playing ESO again. So I just started my account back up. But as far as its compatibility, so I installed it using Lutris, and I just used the first installer that I found.
That's what I did too. Yep.
Everything was, I think I've only ever played that game on Linux. I may have tried it on Windows, but I doubt it because I really have only played it like one other time, I think. And that time I had stuttering and issues, but this time everything was perfect. As long as you wait for it to finish installing. It's one of these games like how WoW, you can like let it install so far and then you can kind of log in and play the game. I tried that and it was terrible, and so I just let it run overnight and let it finish, and then I logged in and everything was fine. I did have one weird glitchy kind of thing. I would launch the game launcher. I don't know if you had this problem. I would launch the game launcher and then nothing would happen. And I had the box checked to automatically load the game, and it would never let me hit the button that says start. It would always be like, loading or whatever. But then could you move the screen around, the window around, or no? I don't know. I can actually check now
because I had that happen to me. And if you move the window around, it'll kind of glitch out, but then it'll work, and then you can actually hit it.
All right, so here we're going to test this live. We're going to see.
Oh boy, here we go. I like how it says on Discord, you're playing Lutris.
I'm playing that Lutris, boy. All right, let's see. I haven't loaded it in a while, so it may actually have like an update to install. Let's see. All right, so it comes up, and it's installing an update.
Ah, crap. There goes our bandwidth.
It launched. All right, it launched. Oh, and then I got an error message. Oh no.
Oh no.
It probably has something to do with the it probably just has something to do with the live stream going.
Oh, you're probably right. Yeah.
Because I never had an error. I never had an error on it.
Yeah. Probably the ping time is too small or too large. I mean,
I'll tell you what. I'll try it again after the show, and if I get an error message, I'll put it in the show notes, and we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. The update screwed us.
Yeah. But prior to today's update, it was working fine. It was running.
After I got done saying like it always works. Oh yeah, they always work. Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I think all in all, it's I think it's a very good MMO. But I will still play it. I wasn't going to admit this, but I'll go ahead and admit it. I actually picked up the new expansion that they announced. The pre-order for that, and so I actually have a character boost, but I don't know enough about the game to know what to use it on, and so I don't want to like boost some character that I'm like never going to play.
Right.
So I'll probably wait until that next expansion releases, and I know it was in beta when we were testing it before. I don't know if it's already released or if it's still coming, but I might start my account. Well, it's free. It's free to play. I might log in again and make something and boost it, and then see how it goes. So, how about you? You playing anything?
Yep. I've been playing a bunch of different games that actually work, as you heard, like ESO. But Batman Arkham Asylum, that's a little bit of an issue. It does have a silver rating. It does have a silver rating on Proton. So I'm like, I'll give it a shot, see if I can get it working. And I almost had it running. I was so close with Glorious Egg Roll. I was so close. It launched. Everything was up. I could change the display resolution and everything. And then I got into the game, and I had this shader compiler error. And I'm like, no. And I didn't get around to looking that error up yet. So I have to look up and see why it's happening.
I was trying to see if I can pull it up, but I'm having the flashy window problem.
I tried several other Proton versions, and none of them even launched the game at all. Like, it didn't even start up.
I like that game. I must have played it on Windows. Oh, you know what? I think I actually played it on PS4. I think that
probably.
I still have it. I actually sold my PS4, but I didn't sell the games, and I still have that game on PS4.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I remember it being a cool game. It's got Mark Hamill voice acts the Joker. Yeah, it's a really good game. And
yeah, it's one of my favorite Batman games.
Yeah, so they're saying to use the Heroic Game Launcher. Did you pick it up? Where did you buy it?
I have it on Steam. I've had it forever, so
it's
not like I bought it for this specifically.
I got a game. I didn't. So another thing about Twitch. So we're doing a Twitch thing. At the top of Twitch, they had this thing where it was like you could get a free game in the GOG store.
Oh, wow.
And they do it like I see these things like every month because I've had an account for a long time, even though I never use it. And I thought, I'm going to click on it and it's going to be like, oh yeah, use your Amazon sub or something to get this game.
Right.
But like it straight up just let me download Alien Isolation. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. So and I installed
that game.
I installed the Heroic Game Launcher and I ran the game and the game runs. There's this weird thing it does though where like there's like this like lag. So like if I'm moving my camera, everything looks fine. There's no lag. And maybe this is like a part of the game. I don't know. I need to Google it. But if I'm running my character forward and then I stop, it's like they keep running for a few steps.
I've had that happen in some games. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
but it almost feels like it might be a mechanic in the game. I don't know. I need
Almost
to,
like you can't stop yourself. Like you have to
like you
it's
got
kinda
momentum of some kind. Because,
yeah, momentum. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I got to look it up and see.
Never played it. I've always wanted to play that game because I'm a huge Alien fan. But
yeah. So that's why I was playing it. It's because I'm gonna be live streaming starting tomorrow a Alien RPG where we're gonna be playing. It's just an RPG made by not Modifius. I can't remember the name of the company. Free League Publishing. And so I was like, well, I kind of want to get in the mood, so I tried this out, and it does get you in the mood. It's really cool because it's set in the same movie universe.
right.
It's really cool. I actually picked up Dying Light finally. So Nova, no wait, not Nova Javelin. Ace Javelin was
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ace Javelin.
Ace Javelin, yeah, I was right. Ace Javelin recommended that I play the Dying Light series. It's a Linux native, and it is, so what I said in my show notes is that it is if Metal Gear Solid 5, Assassin's Creed, and Left 4 Dead had a baby, then it would be Dying Light.
Oh gosh.
Because it has this like open world style where you're like on this huge map that's like an entire city, and you're given objectives, and however you make your way to that objective is like up to you. If you have enough ammunition and you feel like you can just guns blazing kill a bunch of zombies and then get to the checkpoint and do it, then by all means have at it. It's unlikely, but by all means have at it. But it also has this parkour system that's really similar to like Assassin's Creed, where you're like jumping rooftop to rooftop and you can like scale buildings and stuff. Yeah, it's really, I treated it like a sneaking mission game. Like I killed almost no zombies. I was just
basically like Metal Gear Solid.
Yep, exactly. I was just sneaking past zombies, setting traps, blowing stuff up, and having them go in that direction, and then I run in some other direction. It actually is a lot of fun. It's a really cool game. I don't get excited. So my thing with single player games, so we just talked about Alien Isolation, this game, I'll usually like kind of get into them enough to get a feeling for the game, but then I don't stick with it the way I do with MMOs. But like this had such a cool feel. I'm sure I'm gonna keep coming back to it. But to be honest with you, I'm way more interested in the DLCs for this game. The DLCs for this game are nuts. They have so many DLCs. I'm gonna pull them up.
And are they like good, or are they like a bunch of small ones? I shouldn't say good. Are they large?
They have. I don't know how long. So I don't know exactly, but
okay.
Because so for one thing, I'm going to save Dying Light for last because it's the one I really want to talk about the most. But so like they have the following. This is experience the untold chapter of Kyle Crane's story set in the vast breakthrough region outside the city. So like this seems like it's a whole nother chapter. There's the gunslinger. Some of them are just like you're buying like new weapon packs and things.
Right, okay.
But there is like, so like there's this Dying Light of Viking Raiders of Haran bundle. And I think this is just new weapons. I don't know if this is a whole nother chapter set in like
make it sound good.
It may be though. Like I'm watching the video. Oh yeah, it is. It's a whole new, it's like a Viking like style map. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, the DLCs for this game are just like so vast. You have the classified operations bundle, so you're like a secret agent. There's a ton. So I picked up Hellraid because I saw, when I looked up videos on Dying Light, I saw someone playing Hellraid, and that's what sparked my interest more than anything. As a matter of fact, I'm more interested in Hellraid than I am in Dying Light. The way this works is you buy this DLC, you have to complete the main portion of the game. or not the main portion of the game. You complete like the opening set of the game. Once you complete,
right,
you get to a certain point. It asks you, do you want to play in like a sort of like a multiplayer, single player kind of thing? Kind of like what was the game I played recently that had something similar? The game that's got Norman Reedus in it, and you're basically just walking, delivering packages. Death Stranding. So like in Death Stranding, where it's like it's a single player game, but there's like this multiplayer aspect to it where other players have like a way to interact with your game. They have that sort of thing, but you can also queue up. Like you can queue up in a lobby and play with other players in certain parts of the mission and stuff. So it's even more multiplayer than the Death Stranding. But once you get through that section and you have this DLC, then all of a sudden there is this arcade machine in the hospital building that you've been held up in with other survivors. And whenever you approach the arcade machine, you're in a new game. You're like in a completely different game. And you start playing this Hellraid game where it's like a grim, dark, medieval. I said it's like Dying Light meets Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Like it's like you're all of a sudden just in this grim, dark fantasy. And you're given objectives just like in Dying Light, only in this completely different setting. And from what I've seen, they're posting updates to this. Like I saw on Halloween, they added some new, mission to the Dying Light Hellraid. And so I don't know. I haven't played enough of it to see how far it goes yet, but it looks really sick. And this is the game I want. If they just released Hellraid as its own game, I would buy that. Because it is so cool. It's so cool. It's the zombie horde. You're fighting off hordes of zombies, but you're like in like this like desolate castle. It's really sick.
So it's like Left 4 Dead if you were in a castle and fighting off all these zombies.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I've been holding off getting any further because I don't know how to get out. You go click on the arcade and you just start this other game, and I have no idea how to get back to the other story.
Oh no.
Stuck. And so
stuck in hell.
I'm debating whether I want to finish Hellraid now or if I ever get the guts to stream on Twitch. I try to stream it on Twitch playing Hellraid, but Hellraid is so much more interesting than Dying Light to me. I hope they keep doing more of these, and I'm going to check out more of the DLCs too because they're really cool. And Dying Light 2 is out now.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got a lot of stuff going for it.
Is Dying Light the one that was an indie game? It started as an indie game or no?
I don't know.
I might be thinking of a different game. There's so many zombie games.
See, I'll look at origin story. Let's see if there's like that's just telling me the story of Kyle Crane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I tried the game only because Ace Javelin recommended it, and I really enjoyed it. It was a very good recommendation. I picked it up on like whenever they did like a sale around Halloween. So I'm not sure how much it is today, but I got it on sale. All right, did we cover everything?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that That's the end. That's the end of the show.
It's not an indie game.
That's right. Oh, it's not an indie game.
No, Warner Brothers.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I get the logo when you start the game. I forgot about that. So the art stream, art stream, by the way, that's what we should call it. I am basically ready to do it. I was waiting to announce it here before I did it, and I can't wait to do it because I'm tired of this pop installation. I love pop, but there's something going on with mine. I get this crazy...
Yeah, that's strange. I've never had that. I don't know.
I can't even move it over to the other screen to show it. I get this crazy white screen all the time. It happens all the time. Oh, if I resized it and it fixed it.
Oh my gosh, that is so bad, though. That is so bad.
I've been dealing with it for weeks now. So I can't wait to reinstall. And what I did was I did an Arch installation, not using completely memory, but trying to only use the Arch wiki. And there's a few moments in the Arch wiki, which I understand why they do it. They're trying to keep the wiki concise, and there's a few like you come to like Grub, for example, it'll just tell you, okay, now's the time to install your bootloader, and then right. Bootloader is a link to all the different bootloaders you could choose. So it's not like,
oh yeah,
like it's not holding your hand to be like, okay, most people use Grub too. Yeah, right, exactly. So what I did was I took notes on those sections so that whenever I live stream, I'll follow the wiki until I get to those things, and then I've got notes where I'll go look at that. And I took the notes by installing Arch on my laptop, which I'm going to use to stream installing Arch on my desktop. So
maybe I'll watch you and I'll install it myself on my laptop.
Yeah, no, I think that should be our 100 subscriber challenge, is that if we get 100 subs, you have to install Arch and use it and install it. No quick installs. You gotta install it using.
Come on! What about that new installer they got?
I hope you do it. I have most of it memorized. I just get stuck.
Awesome,
I get stuck whenever I get to. There's certain parts where it's like.
The partitioning the disk for me is where I fall short, because I tried CF disk and it didn't work, so I had to fall down to parted, and I just didn't know the commands, so I was like just fumbling around.
Yeah, I use this time around I used something that I had not used before. Let me look at my notes and see what it was. And I used it because I was watching a 2018 video of Glorious Egg Roll installing. But normally I use Fdisk usually.
I made that mistake watching an old video because it does not install the same way.
He used CG disk is what he used.
CG, I never heard of that one. Okay.
Yeah, but I usually just use Fdisk. But yeah, that's like the big. So yeah, we don't have to get into it all now, but it's basically that's how you start. You do your partitioning, and then you do your formatting. Like you say what FS you want, and then you use the pack install. I start getting confused whenever you get down to the bootloader stuff, dude. I took LPIC 1, and I was a sysadmin for almost 4 years, and I've been using Linux on my daily driver for I don't even know how long. I've been a Linux user for a very long time. And I could not install Grub to save my life. I couldn't to save my family's life. I could not install Grub. I have to follow. I have to follow. Yeah, I have to follow. So what I did was I that's why I went to his video, and then I took notes on that section. So that's the way this is going to work. I'm going to do most of it from memory, but I have some notes on the things that I just for the life of me can never remember.
Right. Yeah, that's totally understandable.
Well, anyway, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening, and peace.
See ya.